Hello, my amazing artists. All right, boys and girls, you ready for the art this week? Oh, let's do our motto first. Here we go. I make messes. I make mistakes. But deep down inside, I've got what it takes. I am an artist. Good job. Okay, this week what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about shapes. We've been talking about different lines. Now we're going to do shapes. So some things you need for kindergarten and first grade for this lesson are, first of all, you're going to need a white sheet of paper. You can really use any color. White's probably the best. A pencil. Some kind of black marker. It really doesn't matter what kind. It can be a permanent marker, a regular marker. It can even be a black pen. We're just going to use this to make our lines darker so we can see them better. You're also going to need some shapes. Now, I've got several options for you. I made some stencils. If you have stencils of shapes at your house, that would be great. Those would work. And all kinds of shapes. Circles, triangles, maybe even smaller triangles, rectangles. You're gonna need some rectangles for this. I even have a long one here. Squares, maybe different sizes of squares. And if you don't have stencils, you can use blocks. I've got some cool blocks here that are all different kinds of shapes and all different sizes that are gonna work, okay? Or if you don't have stencils, you don't have blocks, you can also just go around your house and find things that are in cool shapes. Like my eraser is in a rectangle. I could use this. Even the bottom of a marker is a little circle. I found the bottom of my stapler is a really good rectangle. Bottom of a glue bottle is a good oval. If you have watercolors, that's a big rectangle. Lots of bottoms that make circles, even cups. If you have different sizes of cups, the bottom of cups are great for good circles too. All right, so I want you to collect some of those things and then we will start. Okay, boys and girls, before we get started today, let's practice drawing some shapes and talk about the names of shapes before we get started on our project. What we are gonna do today is we're gonna do a shape robot. We're just gonna get it started today and then we're gonna finish it next week. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna draw some shapes and I want you to tell me what they are. You ready? Here we go. Now mine are gonna be perfect because I'm drawing them by hand on a whiteboard. Oh, that marker need a new one. Find this one. All right. Okay, here's an easy one. What is that? Circle. Very good. And that's a big circle. Remember, you can have all different types of circles, small ones and big ones. Okay, I'm gonna take my circle and I'm gonna smush it. What does that become? That's called an oval, and you can do it this way or you can do it sideways. All right, how about this one? Ooh, remember, it's not gonna be perfect. That is a square. Remember, a square, all four sides are the same. And you can do big squares, little squares. You're gonna want all kinds of different squares for your robot. All right, if I take my square and I squish it and make it tall and skinny, or I make it long and short, what does that become? Rectangle. Good work. Okay, here's this next one. What kind of shape is this? That is called a triangle. Triangle has three sides. Now, triangles can be all different shapes. It might be hard to find something at your house that's a triangle, so you may just have to draw a triangle. You can make them tall and skinny like that. You can make them really short and wide like that. Okay. Then there are other shapes like these, which is a hexagon, or like these, which I think is called a trapezoid. There's diamonds like these. So there's lots of other different shapes you can find around your house too. If you have blocks like these are awesome. Legos would even work if you have Legos. All right, now I want you to practice drawing some of these shapes before we get started. All right, boys and girls, so what I'm going to do today is I'm gonna use these stencils. If you have a grown-up at your house, maybe they can make you some stencils, or remember, you can use household items and just trace them. I just already have these ready, so I'm gonna use these. And these are some really good shapes. for our robot. What we're gonna do this week is we're just going to trace and cut out all these shapes that we're gonna use, and then next week we will glue them all together to make our robot. So when you're picking your shapes and you're tracing them onto your paper, you want to think about what you're going to use for his arms, what you're going to use for his body, what you might use for his head, his feet, his hands, whatever you want to do, because the shapes you make this week are the only shapes you get to use next week, okay? So you can get a piece of paper. I chose an orange paper. My robot's going to be orange. If you just have white, that's fine. You can always color it, whatever you want to do. So I think I'm going to do a big circle for a body. I'm going to do a square for a head. I need a couple of these for legs. I think I'm going to do some triangles. Actually, I want to do triangles for legs. I think I'm going to do these for hands. And then maybe I'll do some of these for arms and these for hands. So I'm gonna get my pencil. I'm gonna use a pencil first, then I'll outline it with a black marker so I can see it better. And I'm just gonna trace my shapes. And couple of these, and you can trace as many shapes as you want. You can make a ton of shapes and then just put it together however you want to next week. You want to get them as close as you can on your papers so that makes sure you have lots of room to do all your shapes, because we're just going to use one sheet of paper. I guess if you're at your house, you could probably use more than one sheet. Oh, got that one off. However you want to do it. I'm gonna do a bunch of these little diamonds. These are really fun, and I can do a lot with these. I could turn them into eyes, I could turn them into mouths, I could put them as decorations. Little circles are good. I don't have any tiny circle. Actually, I do have a tiny circle. I lost it. So I'm going to use the bottom of this marker, which is really good too, because you can make a little circle. Like that. It's kind of hard to trace the bottom of a marker, but you can have a grown-up help you too if you need it. And then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this triangle a couple times because I'm not sure what I'm gonna use it for. Ooh, you could even use these as hair. That'd be cool. Just trace as many shapes as you can, as many as you want. The more you do, the more you have. See what else I can fit on here. I could fit this little square right here. Like that. All right, now I've got pretty much my whole page covered in shapes. I was gonna have us trace them, but I think cutting these is gonna take us a while. So let's just go ahead and get started cutting. Just cut them out the best you can. And then next week we will glue them all together to make a robot. So next week you're gonna need glue and another sheet of paper. Make sure you keep up with these pieces. If you wanna wait and cut them out closer to next week, that's fine too, so you don't lose them. But once you cut them, make sure you keep them all together so that we have them for next week. Have fun.